You would see confusion, you would see despair, you would see people who are feeling like they can't get things right. You're probably going to see some tears and some tantrums, but you could also see some quite aggressive behaviours as well. You could see some people getting, quite emotive and angry at the drop of a hat.
The question is from Thinking Focus.
Hi, I'm Paul from Thinking Focus.
Hi, I'm Rob from Thinking Focus.
And hi, I'm Rich from Thinking Focus.
And the question is, should all change be done quickly?
The question is from Thinking Focus, a podcast about how we sometimes get in our own way and what we can do about it.
What do you mean by that, Paul?
It's an interesting question, but it's kind of come about because I think for a lot of people, what they've noticed is during COVID that they've been able to achieve quite a lot really fast by just going for it, and the change and the things they need to implement have just happened almost overnight. And so that's kind of made people think, well, why don't we just do that all the time?
Yeah, we've been talking to quite a number of customers of ours who've done some remarkable things and done them quite quickly. And senior people in those businesses are asking that question, why can't we operate at this speed all the time? So, why? Why is that then? Why not? It's basically what they're saying.
Well, yeah. Well, why not? Why not? Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just do every corporate change over a weekend from now on in?
But surely this has got something to do with the fact that we were in, or have been in, and indeed might still be in, a crisis situation. And in a crisis, almost everything else is dropped, and you have one single point of focus.
Well, and you sort of have to do things. So there's little or no option to do other things than just to concentrate on the thing that you have to change. So there's that element to having to do something, but there's also a sort of a unifying element that actually everybody's all focused on the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's speed. I think that people have mistaken the speed, which is a symptom of what they saw. It's a kind of side effect of what's happened for what's really caused this to happen in the way it's happened, which is, COVID particularly united us all in a very singular purpose. We were all in this together.
And a very in lots of ways scary, purpose, because we could see around us actually having very serious impact on close communities, on friends, on family, that was very threatening. So it wasn't as if even that actually, there's a crisis, but it's not actually a life-threatening one. So it was a life-threatening one, but it was also a threat to your business and a threat to your livelihood. So therefore, everyone was bought into, right, let's do what we need to do to get through this.
Yeah, you weren't going around having to say to people, do you get why we're doing this? Are you brought in? Are you okay with this? Everyone was just like, right, let's get on with it. And I can't think of another change in business where that is true. Mm-hmm. In sort of all the time I've been working, I've never come across another example where you go, every single person was completely committed. I mean, there were a few people who were going, let's go even faster. But no one was going, nah, this is fine. Well, not in the UK anyway. No one was going, nah, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
No, I think certainly in all the time we've been working in organisational change, I can't think of a single event that has unified people like this. I think if you think back to 2008 and credit crunch, there was a little bit of that with some people, but there was a lot more, or it felt at the time, looking back, that there was a lot more fear about actually what do I need to do to keep my job, rather than a broader focus around a crisis.
You weren't working in banking by any chance at that point, were you?
No, I was doing this role back then.
Oh, were you?
Yeah,
okay.
Doing this role back then. But I was working with some financial institutions, and when I think back to that, it was just panic, really, rather than what have we got to do to galvanise to get through this.
You see, I was working in tech back then, and there wasn't panic. There was like, oh, this is going to be a bit messy, isn't it? But there wasn't. It didn't. And maybe that's a lack of understanding in that industry, but it didn't feel anywhere near as energizing as the last 3 or 4 months have felt.
Well, I think both of your examples illustrate exactly what we were talking about before, because actually you've just described the view from the tech world, Paul, was this, and Rich has described the view from the banking world was this. And actually the whole of COVID-19 has been a unifying common enemy, if you like, a common focus for everybody. So it's like, we haven't got another view on it. You and I and the next business and the next person and the neighbor and the neighborhood are all affected by this same one thing.
But of course, the challenge for business is that, and for these leaders that and many leaders, some we've been working with, and many others who are kind of going, right, let's keep going at this pace around change. The challenge is that you can't be in crisis mode all the time. That surely is just going to create burnout in people if that's where we operate.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about that Yerkes-Dodson curve, that idea of how people respond under pressure, and the idea that actually there's a point where we max out, the right amount of pressure to keep us working. Well, that's kind of, that line's behind you somewhere in a crisis. You're working in a kind of high stress situation, which you can do. I mean, I always use the example of, that little minnow football team every year in the FA Cup that knocks out one of the kind of big contenders in the Premiership. Yeah. Because the big contenders have come out and they just don't have enough pressure. They're not working at their peak because psychologically they don't feel like they have to. Where the minnows have come out and gone, this is our one chance. Yeah. We are going to work our socks off for 90 minutes. We take the week off. We'll collapse at the end of it. I don't care. We're just going for it.
But sorry, Paul, at the end of the Yerkes-Dodson curve, it talks about burnout, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But psychologically, what are the effects of burnout on someone? What would you see?
Oh, blimey. You would see confusion. You would see despair. You would see people who are kind of feeling like they've got nothing more to give. They can't get things right. You're probably going to see some tears and some tantrums. Yeah. But you could also see some quite aggressive behaviours as well. You could see some people getting, quite emotive and angry at the drop of a hat. I think you can sort of see that at the moment off the back of COVID. That I've done this. I've been in a session and, online, and somebody said something, and I've got quite cross. I was going to say pick something different word, but I've got quite cross. When I sit back and think about it, there's no reason for me to have got angry. That's just not full on burnout, but that's just the anxiety and the stress and working at this speed. For that long. I mean, the other thing you might see as people get into burnout is kind of micromanagement and control, or real tiredness in people.
So what we're saying here then is that actually crisis is great to get us going, and it's great to get lots of action, and you can make things happen, but you can't operate at that level full time because you'll go into this state of burnout. Is that what we're saying?
Well, kind of. What we're saying is that crisis drives us to work a bit harder. We need a bit of pressure to push it forward a little bit. And so you can imagine back at the start of COVID, going to everybody, right, everybody needs to step up. We need to, sort the office, move everybody to home, work in a new way. Everyone can step up for a period of time, assuming that you're not working in stress all the time. And you step up and you do that, and maybe that's a day or two or a week or two, or maybe it was even a difficult month, but then that eases back off again. The danger is when that level gets normalized, and then we go, right, now we're now working at this level, which is a highly stressful level, and then somebody comes along and says, and we all need to step up. Nothing left to give. And then two things are going to happen. One is you burn people out, but two is, if you remember the curve, it goes back down again, and that's productivity. So as you then push people the second time, things very quickly start falling apart.
I think you see small examples of this in the dealings that we have with people every day, because the normal, if I can use that word, work pattern of somebody who is now in a remote working situation is to spend longer hours at work than they did before, because they feel, for all sorts of different reasons, that they can't step away from the computer. They've got to be on Teams or Zoom calls or whatever. And so a type of burnout is beginning to happen there because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And I think if you put on top of that as well, the fact that working from home we're not necessarily getting the interaction either with colleagues, or we're not necessarily getting too much interaction either outside of the home, are we? So things that top up the energy levels that we all do in life, whatever they might be, are missing at the moment. So actually all you've really got is family life, which is great, and work. And you can sit at your desk for longer because you've not got the drive home or whatever, the commute home. So I think people
are you as productive? Yeah.
And you're not, and people, you might burn out because you're also not getting the top-ups that you need from other areas of your life.
Yeah. And so sort of rounding this back to the question, which is about speed of change, you kind of go, the other thing that's gone is the focus of the purpose. Now, crisis purpose causes people to step up really quickly. It's a bit like when we talk about motivation, and you talk about away from and towards motivation. Away from motivation causes people to act very quickly because it's feet against the fire. It doesn't last.
I was going to use that exact phrase. It's that burning platform phrase, isn't it? It's on fire. Yeah. We can feel the heat. We've got to unite, do something. But once everyone's jumped into the ocean to get away from the fire on the burning platform, then it's kind of like, right, well, what now then? So that's when we need to re-energize around. So where are we going? What's the new purpose? What's the focus point?
Yeah, and so for me, I mean, that's how it feels right now. That the purpose behind COVID, from a business point of view, and I appreciate there is a bigger societal issue to this, but that's kind of not too big for us, really. We'll just focus on the stuff we can handle in business. But from a business point of view, COVID's not really the crisis it was. Most of the people we work with have learned how to operate in a COVID world.
Yes.
They've restructured themselves. They've done the things they have to do. They've done it amazingly. You have to kind of, hats off to all of them. It's been incredible to watch. But now they don't have a big aligning purpose. They've gone from this. Everybody is brought into this at a level we've never seen before. Everybody's really clear about what needs to be done at a level we've never seen before. Yeah. And now they've gone to this, and we're all just working from home. What is it we're doing, and what needs to happen, and so to get that speed of change back, for me, it's about getting the clarity and the commitment to the purpose back.
Mm-hmm.
So should all change be done quickly? I think what we're saying is no, not all change should be done quickly. Some can be done quickly, but some can't.
And I do wonder, and I have no evidence for this is totally me making up anecdotal. If you go, actually, if you get clarity and purpose right, change will be quick anyway. If we're all brought in, it doesn't need to be a crisis. Mm-hmm. If we're all brought into a common goal, and we kind of see the reason why we're doing it, and we buy into that, people will make things happen. Change will happen. And I think we're seeing that in some of the other things that are going on in the world right now, where people have got that clarity of vision and really brought into that, and therefore they're moving things much faster than they've ever moved before. But if you haven't got that purpose right, speed's irrelevant. It's just going to go because there's going to be too much resistance.
So it's maybe something to sort of leave on is that actually we will see undoubtedly some leaders in business thinking, okay, well, what I've got to do is create a crisis. But it's got to be genuine. It's got to be something that everybody feels. It's no good making something into a crisis because it suits your agenda to try and drive something through, because people will see through that. It has to be genuine. It has to be something that everyone in the team, everyone in the organisation can feel and buy into.
But you could go one step further and say, and that will get people moving, but what's going to keep them moving is a vision.
What's going to keep them going? Yeah.
Yeah, which sounds like a whole different podcast, by the way.
Or maybe we should do that one.
Yeah, possibly we shall. Going to have to go and plan that now. Thanks, Rich.
No problem.
Next time on The Question Is.
So it's really important then as a leader that I not only rethink, is the purpose strong enough? Will it unite people? Who are we not? And what's our common other that I'd like to focus my teams around so they don't go make their own other, which could be quite dangerous for us.
To find out how Thinking Focus can unlock the potential within your organisation, go to www.thinkingfocus.com, where you'll discover more about the work we do, helping our clients increase productivity and enable change.